With the U.S. Attorney not ruling out more indictments, the future appears murky for the company and quite possibly founder Steven Cohen. Andrew Stoltmann of the Stoltmann Law Offices says it should be shut down after these criminal charges. Also with us is white-collar criminal defense attorney Michael Bachner of Bachner & Associates. Good to see you both, gentlemen. Andrew, you say SAC Capital should be shut down. I mean, that's not the way our system works. They're going to be defending themselves. Should the government do it, or will investors ultimately do it for them? What are you saying?
Well, I think ultimately the investors will end up doing it. When you have a company that's under a criminal indictment, especially when they manage money, that's extraordinarily tough for the company to overcome. And I don't think there's any question that as this case runs through the course of the criminal justice system, the firm will effectively be shut down. Now, Steven Cohen may still be able to manage his own money or the money for employees, but in terms of additional money for outside clients, I think that that's basically over.
Well, what about innocent until proven guilty? I mean, here's a statement from SAC tonight. SAC has never encouraged, promoted, or tolerated insider trading and takes its compliance and management obligations seriously. The handful of men who admit they broke the law does not reflect the honesty, integrity, and character of the thousands of men and women who've worked at SAC over the past 21 years. SAC will continue to operate as we work through these matters.
I think as that 41-page indictment makes its way through the system and people have a chance to look at it, I think they're going to be very concerned. It's alleged that their emails, their text messages, there's 6 employees who have pled guilty to insider trading charges who used to work for SAC. That's extremely problematic.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, does the press conference from Preet Bharara tell you Steve Cohen could face criminal charges himself? Is that off the table with the SEC civil charges already brought?
I think de facto that is off the table. Now, you have the civil charges, of course, being brought by the SEC. You also have the company itself being criminally indicted. I think Steven Cohen is going to be in the clear. He's not going to be indicted. But effectively, I think the company is going to be shut down as these criminal charges move forward.
Michael Bachner, how do you feel about all of this? Weigh in here.
Well, as far as Steve Cohen being charged or not being charged, it seems the statute of limitations has run on any conduct that they could have charged him on. They've been investigating Cohen now for 10 years. I think if they had the information, they would have brought it. However, if there was new information that comes to light that extends that statute of limitations, Cohen could still have trouble here. But I do agree that really what's happened here, the U.S. Attorney's Office was unable to indict and put Steve Cohen in jail. So what they did essentially was give his money the death penalty. They've basically shut down his ability to do business. That's going to happen. Investors are not going to stay with him much longer, in my opinion, and he's going to be relegated to basically trading his own funds. If the allegations in the indictment are proved true, getting corporate liability in a criminal case is not difficult. It smells more like a civil standard. They merely have to show that there were employees who engaged in criminal conduct for the corporation or while employed by the corporation, that they knew they were engaging in that conduct, and that they intended to benefit the corporation. You don't have to show that the corporation had knowledge. You could even if the corporation's compliance was terrific and they did everything right, you could still have corporate liability. So this is a really difficult case. I think what Preet Bharara was doing here is basically he took the SEC case, and I think like most U.S. attorneys, they only have faith in themselves and very little in any other agency, and they were not going to let the SEC do this themselves. They took it. They're going to have their own lawyers try it, and they're going to try and get the conviction themselves. And then the SEC will also do their job, and it's possible that there could be damages well beyond $10 billion. There could be treble damages as a result of insider trading in the civil matter. Steve Cohen could be looking at very, very serious financial ramifications here personally.
Yeah.
Well, Maria,
go ahead.
And that's a good point too, because remember, the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York has now indicted 80 people for insider trading related offenses, and they've got convictions or they've got people to plead guilty in 73 of those cases. So unlike some of our U.S. Attorney's Office, the one in New York really knows what it's doing. So I think Cohen faces an uphill climb.
Well, it's absolutely right in terms of Preet Bharara's office. Do you think this indictment rises to the level of systemic fraud?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, if you look back at it, the allegations go back to 1999. Yeah. You have 6 employees who've been criminally indicted. 2 more face trial in the next 6 to 9 months. I mean, if this isn't systemic fraud, and I've called it a jambalaya of criminal fraud, I don't know what is.
Wow. Michael?
I'm really concerned. Yeah, I'm sorry, Maria. I'm really concerned about these types of charges. You have 6 or 7 or 8 people out of a firm that has 1,000 individuals working for it. That's not systemic. This is not the type of thing where you shut down a business. They did it to Arthur Andersen, and Thousands of people lost their jobs. When Prudential Securities had their problems years ago in connection with all of the limited partnership problems, and there was that famous book written on it, Serpent on the Rock, they didn't shut down Prudential Securities. They didn't shut down J.P. Morgan Chase. They gave them deferred prosecutions. And what the U.S. Attorney's Office is doing is, if you're too big, they won't shut you down. But Steve Cohen, the world can live without him, so they're going to try and shut him down.
But wait a minute, Maria, how many...
I'm bothered by it.
Final word.
How many shredding incidences or scandals have we had since Arthur Andersen has been indicted for shredding Enron documents? Zero. I agree, corporations generally shouldn't be indicted unless the fraud is systemic and rampant, and in this case, I think it's warranted.
Good point there. Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate it. We'll keep watching this. We appreciate your time tonight.